Hi guys, today we're going to do 7-4. This is systems of equations, and when we were still in school we actually did this lesson, so this is a really good review. We have a definition here just of the system of equation, and basically what it is, it's a set of two or more equations that contain two or more variables. So what that means is you have two equations. Equations means that there's an equal sign in there. So you have two equations that you're going to solve them at the same time. Now, when we were doing it, we found that there were multiple ways of doing it. One was a graphing method. Two was a substitution method. Three, we did the elimination method. And then I showed you one that most people don't know, and that was the matrix method. And the matrix method was the one that we did on the calculator. Now obviously we don't have calculators, or most of us don't have calculators at home, so we're going to have to rely on some of the other methods. Now this method that we're going to do today is going to be the substitution method. And the first type of equations that we're going to work with are ones that already have the variable solved for. So in this case, it's already solved for y. So in the first equation, we know that y equals x plus 3. In the second equation, we know that y equals 2x plus 5. So since we know what y equals here and it equals here, and we know that y has to equal y, we can actually set these two equations equal to each other. Now once we have them equal to each other, you'll notice that we just have one variable, which is the x, so we got rid of the y. So what this is going to allow us to do is it's going to allow us to solve for the variable x. So we're going to follow our rules that we have been doing the last couple weeks, and we're going to combine our variables, get them on one side of the equal sign. So one of the tricks was to find the variable, find which one was smaller, and get rid of that one first. So I'm going to subtract that from both sides. So it's going to leave you with 3 equals 2 minus 1 is 1. If you want to put the 1 there, you can. And then our final step is to get the variable all by itself, so that means we have to get rid of the plus 5, so you have to subtract 5 from both sides. So you have 3 minus 5, it's negative 2. Equals x, and then I can just rewrite that so it's x equals negative 2. Now if you remember back when we were doing these, this isn't where you stop, because what we've done, we've only just found one of the variables. We found x equals negative 2. We actually have to find the other one as well. We have to find out what y is. So you can take either one of these two equations and substitute what you just found in for x. I'll just use the first equation. I'm going to take that negative 2. I'm going to plug it in for x. Then you just solve that. So you're going to get y equals negative 2 plus 3, which is 1. And there are your two variables. X equals negative 2, y equals 1. Another way that you can write this is as an ordered pair. So it would be negative 2, 1. So there's your answers. So moving on to the next example, looks very similar. We have y equals something and y equals something. So because y equals y, we can set those two equations equal to each other. So the 3x plus 8 is going to equal the negative 7 plus 3x. So once again, follow your rules. Try to get your variables on one side. So in this case, since both of the x's, the three x's are the same, if you subtract them, what happens is they both get eliminated, and you end up with 8 equals negative 7. Now that can't be true. 8 does not equal negative 7, so that is not true. So if that's the case, you're going to have no solution. So no sol there. So when you are doing these problems, you're going to run into multiple scenarios where, one, you could have an answer like this problem. Here's your answer. Or you may run into this situation where your variables cancel out, and then you're left with 8 equals negative 7, which is not true. If it's not true, it's going to be no solution. Or you can get one more scenario where you have, let's just say, I would do it over here, let's just say you have 3 equals 3. Well, 3 equals 3 is true. If it is true, that means you're going to have an infinite amount of solutions, so your answer would be infinite. So 3 different possibilities: infinite, no solution, or 1 solution. Let's go ahead and do a couple more here, see what happens. So here we have y equals 4x minus 6 and y equals x plus 3. So since y equals y, we can set those two equations equal to each other. I'm going to take my x, I'm going to subtract it from both sides. So you have 4 minus 1, which is 3. I'm going to take this minus 6, I'm going to add it to both sides. So you have 3x equals 9. Then you're going to divide both sides by 3. And you're going to get x equals 3. So don't forget, you can't just leave it there. You got to find what the other variable is. So you can use either one of these two. Looks like the bottom one's going to be just a little bit easier. So if I take 3, plug it in for x, I'm going to have 3 plus 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. So y equals 6. X equals 3. If you want to write it as 3, 6, you can do that as well. So that one has 1 solution. And then our last example for this part, y equals y again. So I can take these two, I can set them equal to each other. So once I have them set equal, I'm going to solve. So I'm going to find my variable. This is going to be another one of those ones where the variables actually cancel each other out. So I'm left with 9 equals negative 8. So 9 can't equal negative 8, so that's not true. So this is another one where it's going to be a no solution.